Hi there. Welcome to the tall and the short of it. I am Jenny, and I am going to be pulling Betsy in here in just a second. I have requested for her to join us. I'm sure I started this. I'm gonna tell myself I started this, and I have another page that I do lives on, and I accidentally said the wrong thing for intro, so I had to start over. So hopefully none of you but Betsy caught that. Betsy's coming on in here. Hello. Oh, she's kind of frozen, but oh, we're getting there. Can you hear me okay? Yeah?
Yes.
I think we're synced up now.
Yes. Sink,
Yes?
sunk, sank, all that good stuff.
Okay.
Uh,
Because the first time you talked, I heard myself and then it was
oh,
an echo, and then all of a sudden it all
no,
came
the first
together.
time you talked when you went live and then went back off, you were,
I know, I already told on myself. I already told on myself. But I forgot which group I was in for a second there. So
hey,
I'm glad you were the only one that saw that. Hey, Kathy Boyer, she's
Kathy.
watching. Yay! All right, so yeah, it's kind of weird for us to be going live on a Friday, but I actually had a thing last night I couldn't get out of, so we had to change to a Friday this week. But that's okay. We're almost to the end of the month. How's everybody doing out there? Put some comments in there if you're
Okay,
watching
guys.
with us.
Well,
If you're
we're
watching on
getting
replay,
close
yeah. If you're watching on replay,
to school starting. So for us,
oh yeah,
we start, it's Friday. We start next Thursday. Um,
yeah. That's our teacher day, first
and
teacher day.
then, so I know people around us start, um, I know some start the Monday, like teachers start the Monday after us.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So,
So,
so basically, what I'm trying to say is,
we
everyone ready? Because I'm not.
yeah, I don't think anybody is yet. No, either we're scrambling to get prepared or we aren't ready to even do that yet, and we have to anyway.
I told Jenny I'm going in
So,
tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday.
yeah. So, yeah, I've seen a lot of teachers in and out of the building this week. So, while I've been there. All right. So, our topic for the last week of the month is ways to advocate and different advocacy organizations that we haven't already talked about, because July was Advocacy Month and we started out kind of talking about legislation and what I did in Washington and all that kind of good stuff. And then I was able to interview Susan Ellsworth about Indiana NOFAS, about fetal alcohol syndrome. You can see that video if you scroll down. But there's so many more, and we only have one day left to do this.
Well, and
So,
I think,
yeah.
like I told Jenny when we were talking about this, I said a lot of times it kind of it can often look like when you are a parent reaching out to an advocate, or not, can look like, I don't know, that's not on my end, but as a school, a lot of times I think a lot of school people feel like it's us versus them, and that's not something that we've ever taken that.
No.
Like a lot of
Mm-mm.
people, I can't speak for other people, I can't, but I feel like through conversations and stuff, you get the impression that they're not, that it's like, oh, they're bringing an advocate. And that's,
Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah,
well, what's
yeah.
wrong? Why, yeah,
And
that kind
and
of thing.
so,
You automatically assume there must be a
right.
problem
And
if an
and
advocate is
sometimes
coming.
there might
And there
be,
might be.
but it's always, the most important thing to remember is it is never us versus them, or one side versus the other. It's all about the child. It is always, always,
Oh, yeah.
always. Even you may think as a teacher or director, administrator,
Mm-hmm.
that you're putting that child first in what you're wanting. And then that parent is also thinking that. And that advocate is
Mm-hmm.
great to in all honesty, a lot of times it's a language, in a weird way, it may be like a language barrier because we use terminology
So many
and we use things like
acronyms.
that, that it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I get that that's what you want, but it's, you know, it just how to go about, and I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they can really help um, bring common language together or explain like, no, you know, whether
Mm-hmm.
like this is what the parent is wanting in a term that maybe they're able to explain things in a way that we
Sure.
can understand. Maybe the parent hasn't said it exactly clear enough, or maybe we're not speaking. And that's something to remember that,
I think I think 9 times out of 10, whenever there's a concern, it's usually a
yeah,
communication
yeah,
issue. I mean, it's a misunderstanding of some kind, or there is just wires got crossed somewhere, and maybe someone did drop the ball, but it just didn't get
right.
communicated appropriately.
Hmm.
So that just
Yeah,
needs to be fixed, and we can't know to fix something if we don't know that there's
right.
something to fix.
But I just think it's
Um, so, and like I said, schools aren't perfect. We make mistakes all the time, and the best thing to do is just say, "Hey, we screwed up, and we're fixing it,
yeah.
and this is how."
Well, and I just wanted
So,
to say, like I said, there's often some negative, I don't know, some negativity that kind of surrounds that a little bit. And I just
mhm.
want to say that, um,
I have been blessed to work with some really great advocates over the years to help families come to understanding the process and helping us find common ground and understanding um, how different services impact
mhm,
education throughout a student's
mhm,
life. I think that's a really big thing that an advocate can do. Um, but there's a lot of organizations out there in Indiana that if you're as a parent and you're feeling like, I don't understand all this, you know, my kid just got an IEP or is getting an IEP, or might even get it. Maybe they haven't even
mhm.
qualified yet. Maybe they're just in the testing process and you're like, I'm worried about going to this meeting by myself. That is the perfect reason to get
And
an
it can be
advocate.
so
Uh,
overwhelming, especially that conference
mm-hmm,
can be so overwhelming because so much
absolutely.
information is given at that conference.
Sure. Sure. So, two of the big advocacy organizations that I just wanted to mention right off the bat, kind of, these are two that are really there for parents. Okay. Not that the others aren't, but these two are prominent in
Hmm.
Indiana. So, the ARC of Indiana would be the first one. And they are more of they have different, I don't know if I'd call it, they're almost like, they have chapters around Indiana that parents can get support. They can share resources. The ARC sometimes provides professional development for parents. But they also, you can call the ARC and get advice. You can call them if you have questions and you're like too embarrassed to ask the school, or, things like that. Those are things the ARC does. And like I said, another huge thing that they have done is they were behind helping put together the Erskine Green Training Institute here in Muncie. So that was a big advocacy thing that they did, because that was a need. We saw there was a need for people as they were leaving high school to be able to get training and jobs if they had
Hmm.
disabilities. So they do some really great work around the state. And I hope that we're going to get Kim Dodson, their director, on here at some point and interview her when we have a month where that fits in. She wasn't able to make it work out this month, so hopefully we'll be able to do that in the future. And then Betsy, you want to talk about what you know about the other one?
Enforce, and this is who we work with the most, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
and this is who I personally, if a parent asks, or if anyone were to ask, this is who I refer them to.
Mm-hmm.
But they provide a free advocate to parents that can come to that conference, um, that can help with just that whole excuse me, just that whole process. They
Mm-hmm.
also, I have will provide has my words aren't working today. I'm sorry. Um,
It's okay.
they also have will provide training for parents, on
Mm-hmm.
different things. And sorry, I pulled up the page right now. And oh, they have a video. That might be nice.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said,
And we're going to post all the links for these organizations in the
so they
comments, okay? So if you
they
want
have
to check them
online
out.
courses. It says, for general training volunteer, they have different information fairs. They even have, it says podcast, huh, and
Mm-hmm.
webinars. I was going to pull up their classes.
Yeah, while you're doing that, let me say one thing. They are one of the Indiana resource networks with the Department of Education. And basically what that means is they have someone at the Department of Education that you can, it's kind of a question line for parents that if you want to call the in-source person at the Department of Ed, they can guide you in what next steps could be for whatever your concern is. So there's somebody at the DOE from InSource that can answer questions for parents at all times. And then I think their main offices are up in like northern Indiana, like the Elkhart, South Bend area. Some are up in there. But I know they have a person at the DOE that's like their liaison with the DOE.
um, I just like they have training sessions on IEPs, preparing for your child's case conference. They have two different ones of those,
Mm-hmm.
or a Section 504. By the way, that might be something we need to
Mm-hmm.
talk about sometime. We haven't.
Okay. Yeah, we can
I
talk about
mean, just saying,
504s
we haven't.
for sure.
Anyways, sorry.
It's definitely a topic.
Squirrel. School discipline. Advocating for a foster child with special needs. Bullying prevention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, transition to adult life. That's, I think, we've talked about
Mm-hmm.
that, but that one's very important.
Yeah.
Understanding the importance of inclusion in education. Guys, I maybe said
Yes.
a fourth of them, maybe. So there's some really great
Uh-huh.
things, but there's a lot that they do, and can offer a lot of different resources. Um, on here, it also talks about, which we have, Jenny and I have covered, like different laws and um, dyslexia guidance, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. This also has a spot for that kind of thing. So it's a very good resource for parents or caregivers, foster parents, what,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I think, and I probably have
For
just
sure.
kind of said that scratch the
Scratch
surface,
the
because I mean,
surface. Yeah. There's a lot of resources on both of those sites for the ARC and for InSource. So like I said, we're going to post those links in the
mm-hmm.
comments so that you guys can go to them if you want to afterwards to do more research or get phone numbers and things like that. So then the next couple that I wanted to talk about, these are two of the bigger, more politically active organizations in Indiana. One is the International Dyslexia Association of Indiana, and they are a huge part of, they lobbied for the dyslexia bill that passed. They really try to help parents access evaluations for their children outside of school if they want those. They do a professional development day called Solution Saturday. I went to this and presented at it a few years ago, and it was wonderful. They had topics on everything you'd ever want to hear about reading. They had a really great keynote speaker. Parents were there, educators were there. So it was a really great bringing together of parents and educators at the same thing, which I thought was neat. And they did it on a Saturday, which kind of made
Saturday,
it nice
September
for
28th
people that work.
is 8:30 to
Yes, if this year
3:30. September 28th.
Yep. Yep. And it's being held at
Mm-hmm.
IUPUI this year. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the IDA of Indiana
Well,
site.
I just went
And then the
to, yeah,
other one is,
when I pulled up that site, that was the
mm-hmm,
very first thing. Like, it's literally
yeah, yeah. It's their
the very
big
first
event
thing
of
that
the
was
year
right
is
there.
Solution
So,
Saturday. Yes. And then the other one is Learning Disabilities Association of Indiana. And they also have a really great conference. Theirs is in November, though. It's the first this year, November 1st. And it's usually in the Indianapolis area also. I don't think they've posted where yet. But they cover not just learning disabilities, but ADHD as well at their conference. And they're one of their speakers last year was, I think she won like one of the beauty pageants, like Miss America or something, but she also has ADHD, and she was there to speak about what that was like. And then they always have someone that's a successful adult with a disability that's there to talk. And they've been great. And they also had Rick Lavoie last year, who, I don't know if do you guys even remember those old videos Rick Lavoie did about what it's like to have a learning disability? I mean, it was all over the place, like on VHS back in the day. That's how old I am. I'm dating myself. But he's an awesome speaker. But he used to do like sensitivity trainings with adults to help you feel what that's like to have a learning disability. But he was there last year. So I know they always have a great program. Like I said, I've been to that twice, and I presented one time and was just there as a participant. And they have a ton of parents and kids that come, like teenagers that go to that one, to learn more about
Sorry,
their learning
my nose
disabilities and
is itching
ADHD.
like crazy.
No, no, that's okay.
Allergies.
Um, yeah, okay. So, the next three that I put on our little notes here, I don't really have a ton of information about. I just looked them up and thought they had a lot of great resources. I don't have a lot of contacts in these, but I have heard Family Voices of Indiana. That's one that is also provides parent advocates. So if you don't want to go with InSource, you could go with Family Voices, and
And
they're
I
both free.
believe I have, sorry, I may have information at school on Family Voices, but I also believe
Yeah.
like they can help. Sorry, I'm reading what you wrote on here. I also believe they can help with things like if a family needs some like help navigating medical kind of things, or if they
Yes,
need like
they can.
resources like
Like, how do I get
yes.
respite care? Stuff like that. They can help you with Medicaid
And
waivers,
yes,
things like
so
that.
or like needing special equipment, that kind of thing. So, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I have given their name out before, because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, I'm going to school tomorrow. I'll look. I don't remember coming across it yet, but I'm almost positive I have.
Sure.
Like, and then if I find it, I'll take a picture and post. But I
Perfect.
think they asked me if I wanted, like, because I think I gave you some too, like postcards or
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we
okay,
have
postcards or
brochures.
something.
I
And
think
I
we
said
have
yes, I want
brochures
them. So I'll look.
for sure. Because it's always good to give
Yes.
parents options. Which one of these
Mm-hmm.
would you like? I mean, if there's only one, then that's great. But if there's more than one option,
Yeah.
it's nice to give people a choice. Um, Autism Society of Indiana, I chose out of the big giant list I found online. I chose them because they have things in there for your child's just been diagnosed. What do you need to do now? They've got that like step
Mm-hmm.
by step on their website of like, here's what you need to educate yourself on. Here's what you need to know about school. Here's what you need to know about, just all the things. And there's just great resources on there, videos to watch, things like that. And then, like I said, I didn't know. I mean, I've heard of and know about the Indiana Governor's Council for People with Disabilities, but I've never been involved with them. So I put them on here because they had a lot of stuff on their website that looked like great resources and like events and things that they do around the state. And so I need to make myself more informed about what they do, because it looks like some really great stuff on there. I think they have a conference once a year too, but I didn't find any information on that yet. So, all right. So, and then we have one big last one that I thought I better put on here since, I'm a member. And it's called the Indiana Council for Exceptional Children. Now, that's part of a bigger organization just called the Council for Exceptional Children, which is an international organization, okay? But the Council for Exceptional Children is the organization for educators and pre-service teachers that want to get the high quality professional development. They have their own standards, professional standards they develop for teachers. They always have great journals and things like that about like the best practices in special education. All their research is current. They have their own peer-reviewed journal. There's all that kind of stuff. They have a little newsletter that goes out called CEC Today that can go out to all the members, but they spend a lot of time lobbying at the federal level and the state level for our students with disabilities from the educator perspective. And so I think it would be hard to not mention them and when we talk about advocacy organizations. But they're the support for teachers that's out there. If a teacher needs more, you can always go to them, and they have lots of resources. And I wanted to share, this is a really cool thing, and I have to find it here on my computer real quick. I made a screenshot of it so I could read it to you guys. I need to make it bigger because my eyes are bad. Okay, so this is something that where Council for Exceptional Children is partnering with our Indiana Department of Education this year. This is a pilot program between the Indiana Department of Education and the Council for Exceptional Children, where since there is such a teacher shortage, which we talked about earlier this month, they want to help schools in Indiana retain first-year special ed teachers, because what we know is that half of our teachers who go into special education leave the profession. They don't stay. So we have a hard time retaining them due to various reasons. And so CEC is going to collaborate with all the directors of special education to determine training needs that are specific to first-year teachers this year. They're going to provide training to those first-year teachers. So every first-year teacher in the state of Indiana this year is going to get a mentor where they have 24/7 peer-to-peer support. They're going to get a copy of the survival guide for new special ed teachers put out by Council for Exceptional Children. They're going to get 2 digital modules based on the survival guide and one on co-teaching. They're going to get 3 training webinars for free from CEC. And they're going to get the Special Education Today newsletter. They will get discounts on any CEC event or professional development publication, any of those things that CEC offers. So basically, they're getting a free membership because all these things are what members get of CEC. And it says you just have to be registered with your school's Human Resources Department by November 30th to participate. And these can be anyone who is a first-year teacher this year or anyone on an emergency license can also get this. So if you're a first-year teacher this year and you're watching, make sure you check with your Human Resources Department to make sure you're getting this benefit, because that's amazing. I pay like a lot of money to be a member of CEC.
Here's my thoughts. Maybe I shouldn't bring this up, and I told Jenny, I said, okay, don't get me wrong, they're first year. You're going in excited. What about these 5-year, these teachers that have been here? Those are the ones we're losing. The 5, the 10,
right?
Or even the 15. Those are the ones we're losing. Yes. We're not losing first-year teachers. So I get what they're. True. I get it that they're trying to set a good foundation, but that's, in my opinion, we've also got to work up. We got to go.
Yeah, and that's what I hope. That's what I hope will come from this, is that first-year teachers will see this as so valuable and give them feedback saying, yes, I want to continue with this, and that they'll go ahead and open that up to at least maybe a discount for teachers. Because I pay, I think it's $65 a year for just the basic CEC membership. And then if I want to add more, like for Indiana CEC, and then for my Council for Administrators of Special Ed, it's like $165 by the time I get done.
Well, I was just there. Membership options. So I just clicked on. So apparently, okay. There's 3: the basic, full, and premier. And
so what's the basic?
The basic. I want to get back to this page that I was on that had like a chart. And now it's not letting me. Um, all right. Oh, there it is. Okay. So basic, you get the teaching, it's 65. The the
65. That's what I
full
thought.
is 115 and the premiere is 205. The full and the
Okay.
premiere, what the premiere gives you is well, it says free. No, you're paying for it.
Right.
$250,000 professional liability insurance. And you
Right,
don't
right,
get that
right.
with a full or basic. You get an extra journal. Oh, you get a print journal
Mm-hmm.
instead of it being online. You get the
Being
print.
digital. Yeah.
Um, you get one free ebook from their bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
Free membership in one special interest division.
Right. They have divisions for like your interest areas. So like if you're interested in early childhood, they have a division for early childhood. If you're interested in behavior, then there's one for behavior disorders. There's one for learning disabilities. There's one for, um, oh gosh, there's so many. Well, the one I'm in is for special ed administrators. So like different divisions for different specialty areas. There's one for blind, low vision. There's one for deaf,
But
hard
you
of
would have to pay
hearing.
for that
Um,
since you just
you
you
have
do.
to,
But I mean, if
yes,
you had the free
right,
or the full one, then
right.
you can get. It says free membership.
One,
Additional charge
yes,
applies for any division with dues above $35.
right.
Um,
So like I said, mine ends up being 165 when I'm done because I don't get the premium. I just get the basic when then I add on
okay.
my divisions.
So students
So
can actually they also get a 20% discount for membership.
yes,
So
yes. So I'm hoping that what comes of this is it's so valuable to teachers and they love it that they end up offering a reduced rate for teachers since teachers are already spending enough money of their own on classroom supplies and other things. So that's what I hope comes out of it from my lips to CEC's ears. But yes, you're right that it's usually after a year or two, or maybe 3 or sometimes 5, that they get burned out. And they're like, I'm done because I don't make enough money to do this.
right.
And my caseload's too big and I don't get enough time to do paperwork. And those are a lot of the things that we
Mm-hmm.
hear as reasons why teachers, special ed teachers, leave the profession. And sometimes they'll get dual licensed and they get a special ed job to get their foot in the door. And then when an elementary position opens or another general ed position opens, they want to move into
Or
that
you have a
instead.
dual license and you threaten to let the gen ed one go. I was like, no,
Yeah,
I'm not renewing
it's
it.
you, right? You're
I
like,
don't
no,
want to
I
do
don't want
it.
to do that.
I'm
Ever
not
again.
renewing
Me
it.
either. Me either.
I always renew it, but I threaten that I'm not going to.
Yeah. Oh, funny. All right. Well, we only have on our list um, 2 more things that we can do to advocate. And these aren't really organizations, but I'm going to include some websites that you can go to if you want to do either of these things. So the first is learn just as much as you can. I mean, a way to be an advocate for people with disabilities or kids with disabilities is to just learn as much as you can about it and then voice your opinions either locally at the state or at the federal level. And there's absolutely no way you could keep up with all this unless you follow some of these things that I do. So like that would be maddening. Like when some people like get up in the morning and they read like the news on their phone, I'm reading Chalkbeat. So that's what I'm doing. So people will be like, did you hear so-and-so? I'm like, no, but I read Chalkbeat. So chalkbeat.org is a state one. So you can go to chalkbeat.org and you can say you want to join and you want to pick Indiana because it gives you a choice of your state. And you want to pick Indiana and then sign up for their email, basically. Every day to your email, Chalkbeat will send you a little newsletter that has, these are the top stories in education in Indiana. And sometimes they're federal stories that have to do with Indiana. But a lot of There was one in there today about how they approved the new superintendent of IPS. There's one in there about Muncie teachers getting a raise after
8 years.
the 8 years of not getting a raise. Like those major stories, they take stories from all over and they kind of put them together in one place so you can read them.
Pulled it
It's
up.
really nice.
So I clicked on locations: Chicago, Colorado, Detroit, Indiana, Newark, New York, Tennessee, and then it gives national. So it's not for everywhere.
Right.
I find it very interesting.
Right. Certain states have that.
There's no rhyme or reason.
As maybe they just have people that will do it for those states. It's kind of like once they get somebody.
But isn't Newark in New York? Like right? Oh, okay.
New Jersey. Newark, Newark is in New Jersey, I think.
All right, that makes sense.
Geography.
No. Not my thing.
So that's the state one I use. That one's the state one I use. And then I use one called Countable for federal. And Countable, you can get an app for your phone for Countable, or you can just go to the website from your computer. It's countable.us. And you sign up. You can sign up using Facebook or Google, or you can sign up using your email. Either way, I signed up using Facebook. And basically, when you sign up, it'll ask you some information like where do you live, what's your zip code, that kind of thing. And it automatically puts your legislators under your account. So it'll have issues, and then you can click on an issue and read, this is why people are voting yes on this. Or like, so let's say it was, I don't know, let's say it was back when the Every Student Succeeds Act was going on and they were talking about the bill, right? Well, actually, let's use the one we just talked about, full funding of IDA. If that one was on there, you could click on it and it would say pros and cons. And you could read what people have put about why they like it and why they don't like it. And you can add your opinion under either yes or no. And when you do that, it sends your opinion automatically to all of your legislators. So what was this one? It's awesome.
What was that one called?
Countable. It's called countable.us. It is amazing. So when I tell you that I email them all the time, I do it through Countable because I get on there and it tells me what bills are being talked about or what issues. And then I just decide whether I'm for or against it. And I type my opinion in there and it automatically shoots them an email. It's awesome. So, and then it also, when your legislator votes on something, it sends you an email saying your legislator just voted. See the vote. And you can click and it'll show you how they voted on that issue. And then you can tell them your opinion if you want. So it's really cool. It like makes it a no-brainer on how to get in touch with your federal legislators about any issue that's like a hot topic. So I love that one. Like I would be lost without that. Like I don't know how I would keep up otherwise. So countable.us is like my go-to.
You've never mentioned either of these to me.
Oh,
you have
really?
Never.
How did that never happen?
Oh, seriously, I'm like, where in the world?
Well, I just found out about Chalkbeat last year when I was during governmental affairs. But Countable, I've known about that for a couple of years. Sorry.
Of all the stuff you make me listen to. Oh, look, it even says invite. You could even sent me an email to invite me. Oh my god, I don't know if we're friends.
I'm
already doing it.
I'll do it tomorrow.
I'm already making an account. Oh my goodness.
Like I said, there is an app for the iPhone too, so you can have it as an app and it'll give you notifications when things come up. It's cool because you get to pick when you sign up, you pick up what things are you interested in and you can pick education. So it's not going to send you stuff about the budget or stuff about foreign affairs if you don't click on that. But it does all the issues if you're interested in those things. It's really cool.
Oh, and here I thought we were friends.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. Epic fail. Hi, Jennifer Kuhn.
Well, and her and I have a beef too. She's going to Notre Dame and I don't get to go, so.
Uh-oh. She's going to Notre Dame. Jennifer Kuhn. That'll be awesome.
She's going to the Notre Dame Navy game. I've actually already watched them play Navy.
Oh.
They got beat in triple overtime.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. So we have one last thing on here, and I put it on here as a shameless plug. Participate in positive social media efforts, like the Tall and the Short.
Yes.
That is you being an advocate. And when you share so other people can learn and be educated and do those things too.
That's
So,
when we talk
and
about joining the conversation.
absolutely, it makes everything better when people talk to us about education. It's not just us
Mm-hmm.
talking. So do that. But, and just as a side note, sidebar on this one. I think there's some not so positive social media out there about education. And I think those of us who really support public education and we think it's a good thing. And yes, we know it has problems and it's not perfect. And yes, it probably needs reforms. But we have to create our own stories. I'm sorry, but we
Mm-hmm.
do. We have to be the change we want to see. And so if we want to see things get better and we want to see them, we have to use positive messages. We have to educate people about what the problem might be, but then be the solution finder,
Mm-hmm.
right? Isn't what did you call it on that one? It was the problem solver, not the
Yes.
problem sayer. Was that how you said it?
Sure,
Yeah.
that sounds
So
fantastic.
I've used that several times. I'm just telling you. I loved that. So I encourage people to really try to send positive messages about what we can do, what things do work, and spread those words. That's why I try to post those positive stories like that cool kid who used his senior project to make a sensory room. I was like, what?
Yeah.
This is amazing. Like, yeah, that stuff we need to be celebrating.
There was one the other day, just yesterday maybe. I need to go back and find it. And never mind.
Oh, yeah?
My friend Amanda posted about it wasn't
Oh, yeah.
about
Yes,
a Cracker Barrel.
that was
I was going to
great.
share it, and then I haven't. I need to.
Yes.
It wasn't
Yeah,
necessarily
that'd be great.
education related,
So,
but disability related.
but it was
Yeah.
about disability related, and we're okay with that. So positive stories. Feel free to post those on our timeline anytime. We love that. Okay, so that's it for today. Betsy and I need to powwow about what we're doing next month, so we're not going to quite share that with you yet.
We've tossed around some ideas.
We've tossed around ideas, yes, but we will be back in the swing of things. Let's see here. I'm going to look at the calendar really quick.
Thursday's our first day back, so we'll be together.
Right.
Sort of.
Yes, we will. On the 1st. Yes. So we will be going live next on our very first teacher day. Woo! Yay. Well, and isn't that back to school night though?
Why don't go home?
Will it be okay? Well, that's true.
Are you kidding me? I don't drive home.
Yay!
I'm not driving a half hour home.
Yeah.
I'm driving a half hour back. No.
So we will be there with some, I'm sure, stuff. I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be about back to school stuff, but but we'll pick a theme for the month and we'll have that ready to share with you when we see you again. Okay? So that's it for now.
Bye, guys.